Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, Do Inside Art. My name is Duman, and today we're going to talk about the most common interior design mistakes that everybody makes, and yes, they still do. And the reason why we're going to talk about it today is because I'm here to tell you to please stop. We are in 2025, and there are still some things, even though they speak for themselves, that people continue to do till this day. So I'm going to get into it, and I'm going to tell you why. These are the interior design mistakes that you need to avoid completely if you're doing home decor. If you are designing your own home or doing whatever, stay away, okay? Because this is not cute at all. So the first one I'm going to talk about is buying furniture without measuring. So yes, that piece of furniture that you're envisioning, you looked at it, you looked at inspo photos, all of that stuff, you looked at the website, it's giving, you want to bring it into your space. However, you end up risking it by not measuring it and just ordering it, and then you're stuck with a big package that you cannot return. Listen, I've done this so many times myself, and I'm here to tell you that measuring will save you hundreds of dollars. I can't tell you how many times I went to people's houses and they have an oversized couch in like a tiny apartment or a too small desk in like a big office. I've seen couches not fit through doors, and I've seen dining tables big enough that you can't even walk around it. Always measure twice. It literally takes 2 seconds, and some people actually don't even have a measuring tape. I get that too because I did not have one for like years. And surprisingly enough, buying furniture without measuring can lead to such a poor layout. You can easily make the space feel disjointed. This is the one and only time I will tell you guys to have that cookie cutter design rule in your sleeve, because sometimes you just have to make it work. Next, we have ignoring ceiling-like fixtures. Okay guys, did you know that this is probably the most inexpensive light you will see in your home? Yes, even if it's a new construction home, the builders are cheapening out. Frosted glass fixtures, flush mounted boob lights are not a design statement. I repeat, not a design statement. All of these need to go. I am here to tell you guys that these little ugly thingies, they are not meant to be a design, and they will never be. They are literally there because it is the cheapest way to cover a light bulb, okay? So let's try upgrading to like a clean pendant or a statement fixture. It doesn't have to be a huge chandelier, just enough to give yourself a good kick to your space to show that you have a little bit of taste. Try at least changing the light bulb to a LED setting. You would be surprised how much the hue and saturation impacts your space when you have the right light. Coming in at number 3, we have choosing a trendy tile without thinking long term. So I think a lot of people have some sort of bold tile in their place, and depending on where it is, you can actually be screwed. Replacing a tile is not cheap at all. No sir, no ma'am, it is not. Whenever I see a bolder tile in like a kitchen or like an entryway, I immediately become a job interviewer and I want to ask the person, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I understand being risk adverse will never get you anywhere in home decor, but let's take calculated risks, guys. If there's one thing you can't replace overnight, or in years for that matter, is hardwood floors, countertops, and tiles. I feel like bathrooms are usually the safest bet to go off and be as bold as you can be, because a bathroom is usually one dimension. You have less things in there that can potentially clash with your bold color. And I feel like what's in right now is a glossy porcelain. You still have that bold look without choosing your favorite color like pink or purple or violet. And what I mean by this is that there are probably a ton of different shades associated with your favorite color. Test those out with like a peel and stick or something and keep it on there and see how you'll feel in a couple months. Number 4 is placing TVs too high. Okay, big sigh here. Now, does this really make sense to you? I don't know who came up with this rule that the TV must be attached, but it doesn't work with everything. Let's be real, guys. Not everybody wants to mount a TV. Not everybody can mount a TV depending on what type of wall you have. We have dressers, we have buffets, we have media consoles for a reason. If your neck hurts when you're watching TV, that's a problem. Mounting it above a fireplace might look sleek, but function always comes first. I definitely blame the early 2000s because we have been seeing those MTV cribs, and whenever we saw a TV that was hung above a fireplace or just hung in general, we would be in awe because it just looks so cool. However, we are in 2025. It is not necessary to always mount your TV, especially if it has legs and you have something underneath to support it. I know you love your fireplace, but come on. Coming in at number 5, we have using curtains that are way too short. Yeah, I'm looking at you because I know you've done it. I've done it. and I'm admitting to it. I feel like curtains are the most overlooked home decor in homes because people really don't care about the look of their curtains as long as it's doing their job. But it's just true that short curtains just shorten your wall. You're basically just chopping up everything. Like, you can have a space that is so long and lengthy, and then you just install that really tiny short curtain or that curtain that doesn't go all the way to the floor, and then you just ruin the entire vibe. Unless they are Roman shades and meant to be inside the frame, always hang them high and wide to give them that illusion of space. There's a reason why luxury homes always look pristine, even if the furniture is cold and the space is not all of that. It's because the curtains widens the space and brings an overall grand look at the end of the day. You will see those curtains flowing like you are at the Nosferatu castle. Have it go all the way down to your floor and all the way down to the ceiling. Such a simple outlook. Number 6 is over decorating. So I might offend the maximalists with this. Maximalism. Not every inch of your wall needs to be covered in art. Let the room breathe. We have to have some recognition of the negative space because it is a design tool and it's not a gap that you need to constantly fill. Yes, I know we're done with all white walls or just boring blank canvases. However, you can have a blank canvas that is an art form in itself. I feel like in 2025, we're fighting between maximalism, minimalism. It's like, it's a huge fight. It's a huge fight between the two because we've started off with maximalist spaces, like going crazy, and now we're getting back into the minimalism where you're just like, you know what? We need to calm down. We don't need to do the most. Also, furniture and decorating your space is friggin' hella expensive. Keep some space and refrain tension between your furniture and decor items. You will find yourself more zen, and ironically, less is more. Your space will look more filled with intentional breaks. And even if you are a maximalism, there's a way to store your items in certain areas of your home. Coming in at number 7, we have picking furniture that doesn't suit your lifestyle. Okay, so this is a common interior design mistake that many people make. And the reason why I feel like is because there are too many motivated folks on that Pinterest app, on that Instagram app, that's just like, yes, if they can do it, I can do it. No. A lot of the pictures you see online can be used for staging purposes and also are digitalized. I love Pinterest, I love Instagram, I love all social media apps that show me home trends, home decor, all that stuff. But I do blame them for most of our problems today in home decor. Please, if you have toddlers, why are you getting that white boucle chair? Why? It may be your dream to have one, but it will not work because kids are just messy, and long term, if you don't want to constantly buy a new couch, you would pick something that would be a smart choice for an area that gets constantly messy, or even just getting a glass coffee table when you hate wiping sponges. And even white bedding textiles. If you have pets and you let them sleep with you, why do you have white bedding textiles? Like, that's insane. This is all straightforward info, but there are people that are constantly doing this and looking at their space versus their Pinterest mood board, and they're like, oh my God, why doesn't it look like that? You are your own self-saboteur and you have to admit it, okay? You are not that selling sunset agent with no kid that can get a white boucle couch or a super fancy marble table when you have basically a jungle at home that you have to constantly clean. You don't want to be a maid for your home and you don't want to be constantly stressed. Grab a piece of furniture that can help alleviate that situation if ever it were to happen. Another common interior design mistake is skipping on the entryway. So guess what the first impression of your home is? It's not your kitchen, it's not your dining room, it's not your living room, it's actually the entryway. And this is very overlooked because people don't hang out in the entryway. People usually pass by, they go through, they get inside the home, and then they're done. They leave their coats, they leave their shoes. However, I feel like even interior designers overlook this. You can make it super impressionable. And this is probably the only section of your house where there are not many interior design rules that you have to follow in order to make it that perfect setting. If it's big enough, you can probably even make it a hangout spot if you wanted to. No storage, no lighting, no personality. Come on, that's such a missed opportunity. Make your entryway feel intentional. Make people actually want to come inside. Move those damn shoes out of the way. Get that nice elongated rug. Get that bench. Do a board and batten for extra storage for your coats. These are all intentional aspects you can have in your entryway, and you can really sit down and think about it and apply it. You don't have to just make it a place where you just walk in and then nothing happens. Make it an experience. Another common interior design mistake people always do is relying on one paint color. I get it 100%. Choosing one color can feel safe, especially if you're overwhelmed with like paint paint swatches and you just can't seem to pick the right color. Yes, it can seem cohesive, and if you're going for that minimalist look, it definitely helps to adhere to that idea, but you still need a variety at the end of the day. So remember how I was telling you how your favorite color probably has so many shades to them? That's when you can work with that. A subtle shift in undertone, like a creamier white in one space and like a cooler white in another, can create a flow, and your eyes should travel and notice something new from room to room. So you can choose that soft, warm grayish in the hallway, and like a moody charcoal in the powder room, and like maybe a dusty sage green in the bedroom. You want to make the space feel super intentional and have a different emotional feeling whenever you walk into that space. Keeping that one paint color won't excite you long-term in the end. And at the end of the day, how you feel in your bathroom versus your living room and your bedroom are not all the same. So you can use that mindset to choose the color that you feel for each different room. At number 10 is forgetting to mix and match your textures. So like mixing and matching your paint in your house, mix and matching textures can always make your space feel interesting and less cold. If your room is just full of wood, glass, or like metal, it might just feel lifeless. Texture is what brings the warmth. So imagine like a velvet pillow on like ceramic lamp on like a stone table, or like a flat weave knit overthrow on your cotton pillow bed. Don't underestimate the power of mixing and matching all these together to make your own sort of style. So how to overcome this? I want you to stand in your space and I want you to count how many materials you have. And if they are all hard, glossy surfaces or just one tone, it's time to bring in some depth. As long as it's not overdone, the power of woven baskets, the boucle ottomans, the raw pottery, all of that, or even like a rough jute rug, this can all align and make a contrasting layout. So coming in at number 11, our last common interior design mistake that people always make is too much DIY and not enough skill. Listen, I love a good DIY. I respect the hustle. I even do them myself. However, I'm very honest with myself and I tell myself if it's going to look budget savvy or budget looking. You know, you have your crooked paint lines, you have your messy grout lines, you have patchy lime wash walls, uneven cabinet pulls. All of these are little things that can add up and make your space a whole lot of mess and just off. It's okay not to be an expert at everything. We can try to balance it out. Remember, like a good design is not about how you are doing it, it's how it is made. So if there is specific skill you need in order to pull off that certain crown molding or that board and batten, please hire somebody. Pay the extra cash because you don't want to, down the line, having to redo it again and getting money out of your pocket. There are jobs for everything, and knowing what not to touch yourself is a great skill to have. And if you really want to put yourself to the test, please watch YouTube videos, please watch tutorials, you know, have somebody assist you along the way. That way you can humble yourself immediately. All right, guys, so that's it for today. These are the 11 most common design interior mistakes that people make and are still making in 2025. I hope this was straightforward enough for you, and I hope that you will not make these mistakes and you will come back to this video. If you really like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I do a ton of other videos, so if this wasn't your cup of tea, please check out my other playlists. I talk about home interior design trends, I talk about other tips, and I currently moved into a new home and I'm doing a new home journey transformation. So please check out that while you're at it. I'm thinking of transforming this cookie cutter builder grade home, and I've already started. I'm definitely going to see you next time because you are going to come back and you're going to continue watching me and you're going to hit that subscribe button. So I will see you later. Bye.